This episode is powered by Mod 42. Their modular approach represents the future of data center infrastructure. By combining innovation, design with cutting-edge technology, they deliver scalable, efficient, and sustainable solutions that transforms how businesses deploy and manage their computing resources. Welcome to Beyond the Megawatt. I'm Valerie Crafton, Risk and Site Strategist. I'm joined by my co-host, Mara Irvin, reuse expert and real estate visionary. Together, we are the Data Center Darlings. We're spotlighting the voices and ideas powering digital infrastructure's future. Let's dive in and go beyond the megawatt. Well, welcome everyone to Beyond the Megawatt. I'm very excited to have Joe and Lottie here from the DataCloud. Now, Lottie, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Lottie and I am the content lead for DataCloud USA. I also work on our Metro Connect event that takes place in Fort Lauderdale as well. So my role is really overseeing the content of the whole event, from researching for the agenda, which takes place years out, from sourcing our speakers, developing partnerships with associations, and ultimately making the content agenda as good as it possibly can be.
Now, tell me how you ended up with this team.
So I studied politics and philosophy at university and originally started my career producing banking events. I moved over to DataCloud, to Tokoroco, who's the parent organization, a year and a half ago now. And I find it really interesting because I'm part of a generation where social media and digital technology is so integrated into our everyday lives, from TikTok, Google Maps, everything, but there's not really an awareness of the digital infrastructure that actually all of this technology is dependent upon. So when I started out at this job, my friends would constantly ask me, what is it you actually do? And then that naturally ended up on me having to explain what a data center is and how vital it is for all the technology that we're using. So it's really, really exciting to be part of a role where I'm researching the industry, talking to innovators in the space, which feeds into our program, but also spreads awareness across to people outside of the industry who don't know what a data center is and don't know how fiber connectivity works. So yeah, very happy to be here.
Oh my goodness, that is actually a really great point that you bring up, because it's so true. I mean, whether I'm talking to high schoolers, young children, professionals in the field, I will see folks on the news maybe picketing a data center and then have a cell phone in their hands, and not even connecting the dots of why we need them in the first place, right? So that's a really great point you bring up, and I love that journey story. Joe, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, sort of touching upon what Lottie said there. I'm the commercial lead for the DataCloud series in the US. I've been in the role for about 4 years now. I would sort of like to talk about university, but it was a little bit further away for me than it was for Lottie. It was about 6 or 7 years ago now, but I studied international business at university, so I was always keen to sort of get out and travel. And I ended up in my first job working in the telecoms industry, but not within data centers, within the complete other end, within sort of selling smartphones. So I worked for a Chinese smartphone company that were working to get into the UK, and working with companies like Vodafone and Three. So sort of at the other end, working with the network operators. And I moved to DataCloud 4 years ago to set up their audience development team. And like Lottie, I had absolutely no idea what a data center was beforehand. I also didn't realize that there was this many sort of events out there as well, which has come to pass. We've got about 6 at DataCloud now alone, and there's a conference for everything at the moment. So yeah, I moved to DataCloud 4 years ago, set up their audience development team, which is now in looking to get more sort of hyperscalers and enterprise end users to our events. So once we get those guys in, it sort of allows us to bring in the rest of the industry. That's the sort of strategy from our side. I moved into a commercial role about 3 years ago, and I've been the lead of that for the past year. So for me, it's about the sort of interest in the industry, and from a sort of personal perspective, the travel that we get to do, I think it's incredible, especially going out to the US a lot. It's so different to the UK. And just if you look on LinkedIn, when there's an event on, you see everyone's in a specific place. So in June, everyone was in Cannes for our event. There might be in Hawaii at some point in the year. There'll be in Austin in September. So yeah, it's a really exciting part to be in the industry at the moment.
Well, that's really great story as well. And so interesting how you all kind of came in from different angles, but it's all still very connected
Mm.
somehow. And that just goes to show you how powerful the mission critical world is whether or not we realize it or not. When you do, it's 100% connected. It's just like this big web of connectivity. So we're here to talk about DataCloud and your event that's happening here in a few weeks. And so I'd love to start off with the history. And Joe, maybe you can start off since you've kind of been around a little bit longer. Let's talk about how this event came to be, why it was created, and what was the goals.
Yeah, so we've been running events as the DataCloud brand for probably 20 years now. So mainly in Europe at the start, but in the 4 years I've worked for the business, we've gone from sort of running 2 events in Europe to having touch points all over the globe. So we're in Europe, Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and of course the US. So I think 4 years ago we started out in Austin. So we noticed that the US was sort of missing an event that's more content driven and targeted at senior leadership. Obviously, Lottie writes all the brilliant content for the event, and we felt like we could sort of add something there. So again, like I said, we started in Austin 4 years ago, and we've been there ever since. So grew the event from 4 years ago, 250 people, and now this year we're expecting over 1,000. So it's an amazing time to be part of the data center industry, because as you can see from just that 4 years, our growth has sort of coincided with the growth of the industry, and especially in the US, because the sort of topics are different to what we're seeing in Europe. There's more sort of regulation in Europe, whereas in the US it's more, you can be a bit more expansive with the topics. And I think that sort of shows in the sort of co-locations that we're doing this year. So it's not just DataCloud USA, it's DataCloud USA sort of co-located with our sister brands, Metro Connect and DataCloud Energy. And Lottie, you can speak a bit more to what that sort of means more on the content side now, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. So as Joe mentioned, we sort of saw in the research that there was an event that was missing that was uniting sort of those 3 key pillars. It's no longer a fiber first strategy, it's power first strategy, as you obviously know. So we thought, why not leverage our Metro Connect brand, bringing in the fiber providers to DataCloud USA in September, and DataCloud Energy, bringing in the whole energy ecosystem alongside the investors behind these obviously very costly projects as well. So what that looks like in terms of the event this year is that we've got 2 tracks, or 2 stages rather. The DataCloud stage, which has a track dedicated to our energy content as well, and our Metro Connect track focused on fiber deployment, construction considerations, and investment, as well as a whole separate workshop track as well. So there's really lots of different content that's going to be happening, and a more expanded audience than we've previously seen before.
This episode is brought to you by BCS Switchgear, where power meets precision. From obsolete breakers to the new 15 to 34.5 kV switchgear and low break switches, BCS delivers fast answers and custom engineered solutions that keep mission critical systems online. What is different this year than what folks have seen from the years past? What's making this event special?
Something that we've really doubled down on this year is our talent in tech initiative. And I think we can do a better job of being more loud and vocal about it, because everyone knows that talent is such a big problem in the industry, even from obviously, as I mentioned, talking to my peers, lack of knowledge of what the opportunities are in digital infrastructure. So our talent in tech initiative allows a cohort of students and those with 1 to 2 years experience in the industry a pathway to come to DataCloud USA to meet with the C-suites across the digital infrastructure ecosystem and really connect with the leaders, ask the burning questions, and just find out more about what the opportunities are for them out there. And this year we've partnered with the Energy Institute and the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas to help facilitate this. So there's going to be a really good cohort of students and also those sort of at the beginning of their careers coming to the event. So we're really, really happy and privileged that we can use the platform to be able to welcome the young talents in this year.
What are some of the highlights or keynotes that people can expect? Tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, so we're really excited this year for our opening keynote on day 1, which is focused on quantum computing, which we believe to be the next big I don't want to say craze, but the next big thing, we'll say, in the digital infrastructure ecosystem. So it's focused on how that's going to evolve, how that's going to impact digital infrastructure and data center design. And that's being led by the founder and former CEO of Zayo, Dan Caruso, who I'm sure is a very familiar name to anyone listening. And then industry experts from NVIDIA, AWS, Enable Quantum Industries, and Inflection. So a really exciting keynote. Don't want to miss out on that one. And Dan Caruso also will be doing a book signing at the event as well. So lots going on there. And then on the energy front as well, our day 2 keynote features the global head of energy from AWS. So that's not one to miss either. So yeah, excited for those two.
That is really exciting. So outside of the keynote, are there any themes or any special experiences that folks can expect?
Yeah, that's sort of what my role is. So we've got quite a packed social calendar for this year. So on the 15th of September, we'll have our golf day hosted by Relco. We did it for the first time last year and it was great. We had 36 players. And this year we've doubled in size. We've got 72. We're actually fully subscribed. So if anyone is listening to this and wants to come, do reach out and you can get on the wait list. But sorry if I disappoint you. Then we'll have the Digital Infrastructure Leadership Summit, which is around 40 sort of C-suite executives come together to sort of discuss what's going on in the industry at the moment, followed by our welcome drinks reception, which will be at the venue, the Austin Downtown Marriott, on the 15th of September. Then in the morning of the second day, so the 16th of September, we'll have the women's only breakfast hosted by the Women's Tech Forum and I Am Women. Again, Lottie might be able to speak a bit more to this afterwards, but that's a brilliant way of sort of us championing women in the industry and promoting getting more women involved within the industry as well, which is brilliant. And in a sort of similar way that Lottie's working with the talent in tech, again with the women's breakfast, trying to sort of do a similar thing in promoting diversity within the industry. Then we'll have our day 1 drinks reception at the end of the 16th of September. As well as some amazing things that we haven't had in previous years. So sort of the event, as the event's grown, we've been able to get more sponsors in, and getting more sponsors in means that we can do a bit more exciting stuff within the sort of exhibition area. So now we'll have a networking lounge, we'll have 2 coffee stations, we'll have these drinks receptions I was speaking about them. We won't just have sort of panel discussions, we'll have workshops and presentations. So there'll be a bit more sort of varied and insightful content on to what we might have had in previous years. So yeah, it's good. It's really exciting. And obviously we'll have you guys in an exhibition stand as well. So if anyone wants to join the podcast, they can whilst they're on site too, which is great.
I know, we're very excited. We're going to have a podcast pop-up space for ourselves for folks who are not on a panel and you're wanting to share some insights and what you're thinking about the event so far. We love to capture the energy and with everyone who's there. So stop by, interview with us for 1 or 2 minutes, and we'll have it marked on a map somewhere. It'll show where we are amongst booth and so forth. So you'll be able to find us on the map, and we'll have scheduled times where we'll be there. We won't be there full time, but we're going to be wandering around as well. The goal is to really capture the folks who are maybe not on a panel and get your insights on what's going on in the industry as well. So, I mean, that's the goal, right? And so in addition to that, what do you all see as being the future of data centers? And what do you think the subjects how they're going to be different for next year?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's hard to tell, which is a cop-out answer, but the industry moves so quickly, as we know. But if I had to pinpoint 2 things that I think will be hot on the agenda next year, I think it's going to be more investment-related conversations. I don't think there's any sign of industry slowdown, although speculation. It was clear from events that we've been to recently, such as Congress and ITW, that it's very much still foot on the pedal for investment into digital infrastructure. So I think that's going to be a hot topic of conversation. I think the conversation around quantum will continue as well, energy, and then last, if I can have one more, I think there might be a bit of a conversation around data centers in space as well. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Ooh, that's pretty audacious. That's a great forecast. I love that. I think Lottie just dropped the mic. Well, I have really enjoyed hearing about what to expect, where we've been, where we're going, and what the future is going to look like. So thank you both for sharing with us a little bit about what to expect at DataCloud. If you haven't already registered We'll have that in our guest links with this episode, and on social media, you'll find those links. And so if you're listening to it, then check out the notes. We'll have those registration links there. And then reach out to Joe if you want to golf, because I know from experience, it's easy to get in, because no doubt someone doesn't show up. And so I've been in one of those standby lines, and I've never not gotten a spot. It's been amazing. So thank you both so much. And I just want to, before we close, just thank my title sponsor, BCS, Switchgear, and our event sponsor, Mod 42 Modular Data Centers. Thank you both for being on our show. And we're looking forward to being the media sponsor with you at DataCloud. It's going to be fun.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much for having us on.